Nope.
All right. Now we're live. We're live on the interwebs.
Hey.
Welcome,
Hey.
everybody. I am Jess, and I'm here with British India. We're here before the Cooper's Dark Tour that's starting at the end of the month, is it? End of May. We're just going to do this live chat here with some cool technology, Google Hangouts. We're all pretty new to this. Let's just roll with it and see what happens. Can everyone see and hear us? We can see you. Everyone give a little bit of a wave down there. There we go. It's working. Sweet. All right. I might start off with the first question. You guys have been keeping real busy lately. Which part of the process do you love most? Is it writing, touring?
I think until quite recently, we would have said that touring was our favorite part of the process by far, and that if we were given the option to just always tour and never write or record records, we probably would have done that because writing and recording records and making records was just to keep the live process going, really.
Yeah.
But I think in maybe the last 12 months, that's really changed. Just because of the way we've been writing and the way we've been coming up with songs has been really, it's just really exciting. I don't know, for some reason the songs are coming really much more easily than they've ever come before, and it's made the whole process a lot more enjoyable. Probably the most enjoyable it's ever been. Do you guys want to elaborate on that?
Yeah. We're lucky in the sense that now we have our own studio. So when we're not touring, generally during the week, we're writing and recording. And we have the luxury of writing a song and then recording it straight away. So, and then it breaks it up. We get to tour on the weekend and come back and write and record. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's as fun as it's ever been.
The only thing I'd add is that with playing live, it's a very immediate reaction you get. So it's it's such an addictive drug that you want to keep doing it every week. But whereas you write something and then you record it, it takes a long time for you to realize whether it was good or not. So you may immediately like it, but then you hate it a little bit down the track. So sometimes the reward comes a lot longer after you write something.
And you get to feed off the audience and sort of see where it takes you.
Yeah, definitely. Anything you'd like to add, Nick?
I think it's been pretty summed up. Finding out.
Wonderful.
Let's try and get into our first question here. Who's it gonna be? How about Jess? Hey, Jess.
Hi.
Question for British India?
I do. Okay. Was there any one defining moment in your career that has made you stand back and look at all that you had accomplished?
A good question.
That's a very, very good question. For me, it may have been when things probably weren't working out the way we wanted them to before we released this most recent album, Controller, where and iTunes. It made us wonder why we started doing it in the first place, because things weren't as great as they had been because our studio disappeared. We had to find a new place to record and write, and we couldn't write a song. We would sit around and try and write a song and then never finish one, and it was a bit of a drag. It was a great drag. So we had to sit around and have a conversation and say, why are we doing this? And we all said, because we're four friends who just love doing it and we want to continue doing it. And if we're going to do it, let's do it until it's run out of gas. And I think we refilled the tank around that area. So yeah, we're still going strong, hopefully. That's me.
Cool.
A couple of specific shows as well, just some of the really obviously the really big shows like your Splendor in the Grasses and Falls Festival and things like that. When you look at out of that many people all enjoying themselves, it's pretty staggering. But it's as well as that, it's just the little ones. Like we can go to small towns in Australia that we've never heard of, like Hamilton or something, and we play and there's people there that are singing the songs back to us, and that's pretty much it. And also when I look back on our body of work, it's 4 albums now, which is something we never thought we'd be doing. I mean, Australian bands in this day and age, especially Australian bands, don't, doing 4, and we're working on our 5th album, is pretty unheard of. So I think just the amount of time in the body of work looking back is what really makes us think, God, it's been a wonderful life and a fabulous couple of years. We've had so much fun, and we got to play our neighbours.
Does that answer your question?
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
No worries. Let's go on to question number 2 with Karen. Hello, Karen.
Hi. Okay, so what I wanted to ask, I don't want you guys to get controversial and start slagging each other off, but I want to know what personality traits each of you possess that you think pisses the other guys off. You've been together for so many years now, there's got to be some.
Well, I mean, myself, I'm always drunk, which I think.
It's all right, I'm drunk now. No.
I think that probably bothers the other guys, but it is a good point because for young men with massive egos suddenly crammed into a Tarago with each other for nearly 8 years.
Yeah, exactly.
You do get plenty of opportunities to rub yourselves,
Oh, yo.
and yourself as well. So I think at the start, especially, there was really a matter of finding out what works and how to give each other space. I think there's been plenty of times where there's been like, we'd always fight over girls, especially me and Nick, all the time back in the day. But I'm not sure.
We never really had a fight, like a big fight. Yeah, we've never had a blow up.
You work through things.
Yeah, we work through things. But I mean, in answer to your question, there is, of course, little things, but it's just so.
That's why they're little.
Yeah, they're little things.
That's why they're little.
But Nick, what do you think annoys the other guys that you do?
I don't know. I think everything.
Yeah.
Maybe being antisocial or something.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Probably.
Let it out.
I'll let it out. This is a very cathartic process.
Yeah.
I probably just want everything done my way, so that probably pisses everyone off.
Oh, okay. Are you a Leo?
Leo is in DiCaprio.
Leo DiCaprio.
I am the one, yes.
Are you, mate?
No, I'm Libra.
Settle down there.
I'm Libra, so I
balance.
test the options and then want to do it my way. So yeah, that's, I guess, I have no idea what that means. What pisses me off about you, Matt?
Oh, no, you're not. That's not what we're doing here. Don't be controversial.
It is
Don't
now.
want to break the band up.
I think
Save this question till the end.
I think I just ramble. I just ramble a lot, and there'll be times when we'll be in the van and everyone's just relaxed and quiet and zoning out to music, and I'll just start talking, completely just ruin everyone's vibe. Yeah, that's me. But can we can tell you what pisses us off about our manager a lot. How much time have we got for that? I think that covers it, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think I can speak for the three of us when I say that Matt never pisses me off. Matt's just lovely all the time. We're easy.
Oh, no, you're not. That's not what we're doing here. Don't be controversial.
Karen?
It's going to break the band up.
I think
What do you make Karen standing in front of us instead of heart attack?
ramble a lot.
Karen, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just got a whole bunch of audio feedback from the past.
Are you doing a live artist installation or something?
Behind me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's my partner's work. Yeah, he's got lots of cool work, and hopefully he'll get some, maybe some, what do you call them? Art awards.
Money.
Money, yeah, money. But you have to die to do that in art. So we'll see. When he gets popular, I might kill him.
Okay. We'll come back to you, Karen.
All right. And with that, we might move on to the next question. Coming to us from Lewis. Hello, Lewis. Hello.
I wanted to ask,
Oh, there you are.
why did you guys choose your band name? Did it have something to do with the British occupation of India, or?
I suppose it did indirectly. The story is, when we were looking for a band name, this was maybe around 2005 or something, or maybe later than that, 2008, I suppose. I was in Singapore, and there was a clothing shop called British India, and it sold extremely expensive ladies' garments. And when I was looking in there, it was there was Anglo-Saxon, or I suppose Western women being waited on kind of by Malay and Indian local Singaporeans. Yeah. And it just seemed like a really strange kind of thing. It was kind of unstuck from time and place, and I thought it was a really controversial and daring thing to call a clothes shop, especially in that part of the world. And it just stuck with me, and I think I came back and I said to the dudes, "What about the name British India?" And it just sounded so strange. And this is around the time when there was all these like garage rock bands like Jet and the Vines and the Datsuns, and we really wanted to have a name that was really very different from that, not in the 70s at all. And also, I think it was important for us to have a band name where when you read the band name or when you hear it, you can't ascertain or you don't assume what kind of music they make. And so British India is just a very strange name, and it's stood out, and it's well.
Tell them our old band name.
Yeah, our band name before that was The Curtains, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, The Curtains. So it's a much, compared to that, it's a huge improvement. Before that, we were the Nick Wilson band, the Nick Wilson trio, and there were 4 of us. But I think it is it's kind of controversial, like when we went to the UK, and there have been people on Facebook who have said, what who have really taken umbrage at the name, because it's a sensitive part of history. And I think we were aware that might happen when we first chose the name, but I think it's probably good to be daring and if we're not gonna speak about these parts of history, then we can't move on from them. So I suppose in that way, it's kind of good that we kept the name. I hope that answers your questions.
Yeah, definitely.
Good answer. Cool. Thanks, Lewis.
Thanks, guys. Cool.
And on to the next one. This is like chat roulette. Who's it gonna be? Let's not go there. Let's not chat roulette this, okay? Nah, let's not.
Hi, Simon.
Hi, Simon.
Hey, how you doing?
Very well.
Good.
Definitely not like chat roulette, thank God. I was just wondering what you guys find the toughest part about touring.
Well.
The hangover.
Yeah, the hangovers. I think that someone said, maybe someone old like Eric Clapton said, you can tour. It's not the touring that kills you. It's just the drinking. It's the partying. If we just showed up at towns and just played the shows and then went to bed, touring would be so easy. But as it happens, it's just torture. We just make it torture for ourselves. And
Waiting
around. Yeah.
So with every bit of traveling, you have to wait. So you have to wait when you're waiting for the plane to get out of Melbourne, then you have to wait for the rental car, you have to wait for your bags, then you have to wait to check into the hotel, then you have to wait till the show starts, and then you have to wait till the show ends. Wait to pack up your gear, and it's a long process of wait to get drunk. You have to wait for the alcohol to take effect. It's just constant waiting. It's a diabolical mess, man. That's what I gotta say. But I highly recommend it if you ever want to try it.
Yeah.
The food's bad.
Yeah, the food's can be horrendous. If we're going,
wait for that too.
Yeah, you have to wait for the food. Unless you go to a buffet, then you don't. But we're going to Karratha on the weekend, and I can't expect the food to be too good there. So we're very petty men, as you can tell.
I don't know. Thanks, guys.
No worries, thanks, Simon.
Thanks, buddy.
We've actually had a lot of people sending in questions saying, come play in my town, come play in my town. Quite regional areas too. Is that important for you guys to hit up regional parts of Australia?
Yeah, it's that's how our bread's buttered, basically. We have to sort of keep moving like a shark through all these towns. It's where we get a lot of our cashola from.
Yeah. I think that's a question that we're often asked, and it's kind of strange that it is even a question, because I think the question should be returned when they say, why does British India go to such rural areas? I think it should be turned on the Cut Copies and the other bands of the world. Why don't they
get out there?
It's a big country. It's certainly bigger than Brisbane, Melbourne, and Sydney. And we like going to places we've never been. I think we like getting on a plane and not knowing what to expect when we get to the show. And also when we get there, we're kind of made. The nights are always interesting because we kind of get there and we're bit apart. We're kind of outsiders looking in, and we kind of sometimes get made the guests of honor at these things, and they take us out, and you see what life's like in that town for one night.
Do you feel like they appreciate you a bit more because they don't get to see so many people coming out all the time?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I could give you an example from the weekend. We played a gig in Albury on Sunday night, and poor Willie was just standing there minding his own business, and he got shirt fronted by 3 guys, and it was kind of like he was standing out the front of the gig, and Albury came to the rescue. About 40 people from the gig descended on this guy's car, and one of the guys broke one of the windscreens. So
there you go.
yeah, it can be interesting.
People backing you in Albury.
Yeah, they look after us.
Thank you, Albury. If anyone out there from Albury, thank you for destroying a poor man's girlfriend's car. Thank you.
Should we take another question from the audience? Kate. Hello, Kate.
Hello, Kate.
Hi, long time fan, first time caller. I just really was curious as to, you know, what was your favorite gig of last year and why?
I'd definitely say the Brisbane Fall Out Boy show is one of my favourite shows.
Right, yeah.
And also, every time we go to the zoo is also great, and we're going to be there in 2 weeks. So it's 4 Brisbanes right here. But no, for me, my favourite gig, one of them would be Splendour in the Grass when the PA stopped whilst we were doing a cover of the Beastie Boys.
Our manager
Our manager accidentally leant on a button that turned the whole PA off, and it was during the verse of a Beastie Boys song. So we started and it was in. The verse came, there was nothing, and then someone found that he'd pressed the button, and they pressed the button, and then the chorus kicked in, and it was like we saw however many people were on that hill. Every hand go up, and it was like, yeah, there's music again. This is what we paid for, finally. And that was one of my favorite gigs.
Yeah, right. I was also curious as to what Declan's favourite drink of choice is when he's out at a pub.
That is a good question.
Yeah.
I like Pabst beer.
Yeah. PBR.
Good choice. Good choice.
Pabst Blue Ribbon. That's my favourite drink. And
Is that with the orange?
no, that's Blue
No,
Moon.
that's Blue Moon, but it is.
Yeah, right. Cool.
I think she's asking me that because there's been controversy surrounding, and I'm very ashamed, but I haven't been drinking beer this year. I haven't drank any beer since New Year's Eve. But my birthday's coming up, and British India fans, don't worry, I will start drinking beer again. This is
Yeah, crispy cool Coopers.
yeah, it will. And thank you very much to the British India fans of the world for worrying so much about me and my drinking habit. Cheers. But yeah, in answer to your first question, Brisbane. We like Brisbane.
Right, cool. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Our pleasure.
Cheers. And on to Lauren. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Lauren.
Oh, me. Okay. No.
Maybe it's not Lauren. Technical difficulties. Bye, Kate. Hello, Lauren.
Hello, how are you?
There we go. You're with us.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
I was just wondering, what's one piece of advice that you give to a band that's just starting out?
Well, yeah, I think.
Keep writing.
Yeah, it's. I think if one thing has kind of kept us going and kept us succeeding, it's been focusing on songs rather than other smaller things which are easy to get caught up in. Like, you know, when you're a new band, you worry very much about the things like image, the way you dress, about spearheading some sort of new movement or being associated with some sort of scene, and it just goes away really quickly. You know, it's really transient. So I think, you know, there should be more focus on songwriting and good songs rather than being, you know, cool for 6 months. And yeah, I think that's all I'm saying. I think that's pretty much it. I just, yeah, if you have the great songs, everything else just falls into place. I mean, if you have the great songs, then you're unstoppable. My other bit of advice would be to not take advice from bands like us.
Good advice, definitely. Quite often bands ask us that sort of thing, and almost like there's some sort of secret to any sort of success, and there's no secret, no rhyme or reason to it. It's just sort of perseverance and talent. I think it's the only only way you can make it. I think.
Yeah.
You know, there's no backdoor to this sort of stuff. You know.
Keep
And
at it.
every ascent is different. You know, there's no two band stories are the same. So there's really no rules, which is probably what makes it so exciting. But there's just so many variables and X factors. Like I feel that what the reason we've kept going is almost in spite of the normal things that are the kind of textbook ways you're supposed to make it. I mean, every time we've tried to play that sort of game, it's worked against us. You know, I really think it's a thing where you've got to go your own race. You run your own race, and I think also, especially in this country, maybe people are really good at spotting a phony, and so like Nick said, there's no backdoors and there's no quick answers. So I'm sure that was very unhelpful, but that's generally what we do.
Yeah.
That's great.
Cheers, Lauren.
See you, Lauren.
Thanks.
Who else we got? We have Rebecca. Rebecca, you were in a library, but now you are not.
I dare say she was kicked out. Oh, we can't hear you yet.
Hold on, we can't quite hear you yet.
I got kicked out of the quiet
There
area.
we go. You did get kicked out of the library.
Yes.
That's rock and roll rebellion for you.
There you go. And now you're outside in a sunny place, so you're not in Melbourne.
No, Aubrey.
Aubrey! There you go. Do you have a
for
question?
smashing that person's window.
What would you do differently if you could do it all again?
Oh. Yeah, what we look, I think it come when we were talking about how when you write a song you don't know if it's any good. There's definitely songs that I don't know you wish you'd released in a different order, or you tried to or you'd pushed for another song to be on an album, but I personally don't try and sit around and regret too much. And we try and drive ourselves forward by writing every day, like Matt said before, by going back into Yosef K and doing as much as we can by making the next thing that we do the best possible thing that we can do. And that way we can kind of forget all of the bad things that we have done. Like, yeah, I don't think I'm too pissed off with anything that we've done. I think the way that we've gone about things has been I've enjoyed, definitely.
With the flow, right?
I would change, and I have no doubt that the guys agree, some of our early photo shoots are absolutely awful. I think that would be the first thing that would change.
If only we could pull in those pictures right now.
They're not hard to find. I wish they were.
Google the pictures, guys. Check it out.
Yeah, it's just there's no major sweeping changes. I think we would have there are things like film clips and photo shoots. There's probably a few we could have maybe reached a bit higher. I think there's a kind of you go through a period of your career where you just kind of we did anyway. Maybe about the a few years in, where we just kind of took our hands off the wheel and just there was a lot of partying during the Avalanche tour and a lot of just gallivanting around, and it was the first time we kind of came to a time when they said, well, right, it's time to do another record, and we didn't have any songs because it was there was like maybe 3 years of just rushing around, just being lunatics. So I think that maybe we could have kept our eyes on the ball a bit more and kind of remembered what we do, which is write and perform music. But that's just one, and probably part of the learning process, as they say.
There you go.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Thanks.
We have somebody else lined up here. I might actually.
Yeah, the first one.
Somebody's flickering. Oh.
The other way.
There we go. I might actually jump in with a question. We've had a few people come online and say, "Oh, I'm in my late 50s. Am I too old to come to one of your gigs? What do you think?"
No, we just did the Day on the Green. We just did the Day on the Green tour, which is probably heavily involved in that market.
Yeah.
The old over 50s, and they didn't seem to.
Do they
us.
get up and dance and
absolutely.
enjoy the experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We encourage them to, in fact.
Get up and dance.
Or just to come to a show.
Get out of the house.
And spend their money on us.
Yeah. Cool. So if you're in your late 50s, come check out British India at the After Dark tour.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Who else is ready for us? Christina.
Christina.
Christina. She's working out her question. Deliberating.
In WA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we know where she is?
I don't know. She's not.
She's on
Someone
Murray
call
Street.
the pub.
Christina was walking down the street earlier, and we recognized Perth in the background.
She's signing an autograph.
I don't think she's really aware that we're here.
Yeah, maybe.
Christina.
No. She's got a few questions by the look of it. Yeah, I feel like we're just creeping in on her a bit. I don't think she's ready for us. All right. Well, maybe I can field another question for you guys. Over the next month or so, you're going on tour. Is there anything different about this tour that you guys are hoping to do, bring on stage?
I don't know, not really. And I think it's certainly true that I think the live show, I think what people like about the British India live show and the way we cut it and the way it originated was here in Melbourne. You know, we were playing 3 or 4 shows a week, and this was at a time when you could do a show at a pub on a Tuesday night and it would just be like absolutely jammed. And there were so many bands around, like there was something in the air where rock and roll bands were really what was happening. And you had to really stand out, you know, and we would stand out by just going absolutely mental and really were really unashamedly enthusiastic and crazy. And I think that's kind of what people come to like about our show, you know, is the energy. I don't think people, as I've said 1,000 times, I don't think people come to our show to hear perfect harmonies or hear perfectly arpeggiated guitar solos or something like that. It's ramshackle and it's loose and it's spontaneous. And I think the fact that that's what people like has kept the shows in a sort of arrested development for us, because we don't want to lose that edge. We don't want it to be too polished. So we haven't changed it too much. But that said, the stuff we're writing now at the moment, that's really going to come into question, you know, as to what we do with the live show. So I don't think this tour is going to change dramatically, but watch this space.
We're going to play some, probably.
No, that's true.
The only difference will probably be that we're playing some new songs off. Because we're about to do another album. We'll be slipping some of those new tracks into the set, so everyone that wants to put them on YouTube before
before it gets out there. Yeah, good stuff.
Do we have some new friends?
Are there new friends hanging out? Who's hanging out with us? Oh no, we lost a friend.
Anyone got a second question?
Hey Karen, you got your hand up there. You got a question for us?
Yeah, I do. Do you think that you guys will ever do like a sort of unplugged acoustic show, maybe at chapel, off chapel, or something like that, or do you just think that maybe your vibe doesn't suit acoustic? Because you did do Triple J, and I think you did. Sorry.
We actually had one lined up and it fell through. We were going to do a big show from the something like that, and we were rehearsing and everything, and we're kind of all getting rather excited about it, and you know, writing some stuff for it and learning some covers and things like that. And I don't know, the show fell through for whatever reason. Can't remember why.
We're not adverse to anything like that at all, and I think as that gig that Nick talks about, it's by practicing those our older songs with in that kind of setting or that vibe, and trying to learn other people's songs in that vibe, it really kind of helped shape a few different songs that we wrote around that time, which will appear on the next album. And it really did. It has helped us on this album. So I wonder if maybe we should do more of it.
Yeah. I think that's something we're definitely going to move into more and more, because it's quite a classy way to grow old, whereas you look when you're, you know, 48.
Leather jackets.
With your leather jacket playing black and white radio. So, you know, that decision's kind of going to be made for us to move into the folk jazz album that is inevitably coming your way.
I don't know if the fans are ready for folk jazz.
No.
Anyway,
are we? Anyone? No?
I saw one hand.
Kate is
here we go.
Eagerly
Here comes
wanting to ask a question. Go for it, Kate. What do you got?
Okay, my question is for Matt. I just wanted to know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your basketball ability? Or any sporting ability, to be honest.
10. He can't define himself, but we'll rate it for it. 10.
10 out of 10?
I once played with Matt, and I'm not much, but he was a 10. It was raindrops. I'll just say that. It was from outside the ring, raindrops. The man's
Thank God.
Were you hoping to play basketball with him at some time?
It seems so.
A girl can
Let's go
dream.
2-on-2.
A girl can dream, you know.
To dream.
Just a dream.
Dreaming of b-ball nights with Matt.
Yep. Pretty much.
All right. Thanks for the question. Oh, hands up, hands up. Hello, Lewis. What do you got, Lewis? Bring it.
Hello?
Yeah?
Yeah, I just want to say, I think that Australian music and artists, there's some really cool ones at the moment. For example, like Courtney Barnett, Violent Soho, Bad Dreams, DZ Death Rays. I just want to ask, what Australian artists do you think, what Australian artists do you like, and in general other artists, and what do you think Australian music is doing on a worldwide scale?
Boom.
Why, the bands you mentioned certainly are all bands we dig. And I think that, you know, Australian rock and roll, maybe since the time we started out, although it was kind of in an interesting swing of the pendulum, because Australian rock and roll was really popular, but it was also really, really bad. And I think that it kind of suffered a little bit, like it went underground, like dance music became more popular, which was exactly what needed to happen, because I think now there's been a whole bunch of bands like the bands you mentioned, who have been who are interesting, who've been in the garage working and writing without the expectation that they'd make anything of themselves, and that's why they're so interesting now. Like certainly the bands you mentioned. The Australian bands we kind of dig are the bands that were around maybe before we started, like that we looked up to when we were little, like Jebediah and Regurgitator. Probably still our favourite Australian bands, but there's good stuff like that now.
Yeah, we are. It's it seems like it's kind of taking off in a way, isn't it? To an extent. It's exciting. I think Triple J's gotten more popular. It's certainly gotten more popular since we started, and I think that's definitely built a platform for a lot of the younger bands to come through, and it's good. It's exciting. It keeps things interesting, and it's.
You guys should check out Sincerely Grizzly from Adelaide. They're really, really good. Horror My Friend are really good. There's a band from Northern Territory actually called Unbroken Expanse, who are unreal. It's probably better if you see them live, because their live show is just so good. But we see a lot of bands, you know, because we try as much as we can to use regional supports. You know, that's just the kind of bands we like is when it's really honest, just straight out of the garage and really raw. And I think it's getting better and better.
Do you guys get to decide in that process of who's going to be on your support?
And with it. And you know, it's kind of cool to use local bands, because we certainly never supported anyone when we were starting out. So yeah. Cheers, Lewis.
Cool. That's cool. I'll try to see you guys in Adelaide in the after dark. I'm trying to win tickets to the.
We'll put you on the door, bro.
I've been trying. I'll get there, right?
Yeah, right.
Good stuff.
Cool.
Come say hello,
Lewis.
Yeah.
We'll put you on the door.
I will, man.
You're on the door.
That's good.
It'll be under Lewis.
Lewis webcam.
Lewis webcam.
How many people are going to turn up saying Lewis?
Only we can stick it
Yeah.
All right. I think we've got another question from Jess. Hello, Jess.
Hello. It was great. I met you guys in Albury on the weekend, and that was really awesome. So thank you for sticking around and having a chat. My question is pretty basic. I just want to find out what sort of things you get up to in your downtime and what your sort of hobbies and favourite things to do are.
I don't really have any hobbies apart from this. Like, this is pretty much all I'm interested in, which is just music. And I know that probably sounds wanky, but I think I'm being honest. But
that's true for all of us in a way.
Yeah.
Spend a lot of time.
Yeah, that's good. Well, that's good for people, like, you know, for the fans, when in your downtime from working, you just want to keep working. That's good for us.
Yeah, well, it never seems like work, I guess, it's called playing music for a reason.
Yeah.
Nick makes, not as much as he used to, but makes films, which is, you can check out. Careful Strangers on YouTube, makes a lot of, makes movies. He won't talk about it, but I'll talk about it for him. Yeah, he did some of our clips. He did the Marching of the Ocean clip, the Blinded clip. Some of our favorite clips we've done. Will studies Japanese. We got this Will here. You looking for it? Studies Japanese. So I don't know, yeah. But Matt plays basketball, and
Yes.
yeah, don't do much.
All right, cool.
Thanks so much
Cheers,
for your
Jess.
question, Jess.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks to everyone who came and hung out with us. Thanks to you guys for doing this. This has been great. Make sure you guys check out the website. I think it's. Let me check my notes. Sorry, guys. Website is coopersafterdark.com.au. Check out the After Dark tour. It'll be at the end of May and June. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm Jess. See you all on the interwebs.
Bye. Bye.